She worth it. She worth it. She worth it. She worth it, worth it.
I am your host, Sandi BestLife Jones, and this is the season 5 premiere of Girl Talk Sunday. And I am here to help you and women just like you discover the purpose and the plan for your life through honoring God, honoring your body, and owning your worth. We are a faith-based platform, but all who come in peace are welcome. As you can see, it is homecoming season at Girl Talk Sunday. All of this season, our theme is coming home. And when we say coming home, this is what we mean. Homecoming is the decision to stop abandoning yourself in order to survive, serve, or be accepted, and to return to the care of God and the truth of who you are. It is the place where you are safe to be honest with God and with yourself. That's what homecoming means to us. I am absolutely delighted to be back with you again for another season. Season 5. Yes, it was May 11th, 2021, when my firstborn podcast came into the world. And she was born out of a desire for me to send a message of hope to women, everyday women, women like me who have gone through some things and God has brought them out. And my whole focus was to teach women, and is to teach women to own their worth, honor their worth, and walk in their worth. That is the purpose of this show. That is the mission of this show. And that is my personal mission, myself, Sandi BestLife Jones. So I'm glad to be here tonight, and I'm so glad that you are here with us. My guest is in the green room. I can see her right now. I'm going to bring her on in just a moment. But I just want you to know that this season, all of my guests are going to be talking about what it means to them to come home to God, to love, to faith, and to themselves. To gather up all of the pieces that have been scattered everywhere as we try to be all things to all people, and just really start to focus on what it is that God has for us to be, not necessarily to do, but to be. I think we're really good at doing. It's time for us to get better at just being. And that means being healthy, being whole, body, mind, and spirit. So that is the theme of season 5 of the Girl Talk Sunday podcast. And I'm excited to get started. But before we do, I want to introduce my guest properly, because that's what we do over here. We are dignified and refined. Amen. Y'all see my crown? Listen, I said all of this whole season is homecoming for me. I didn't get to go to homecoming. So I created my own homecoming. I said, I'm going to wear this crown. Now, I probably won't wear it every show, but I might. I haven't decided yet. But today, the season premiere, I wanted to make sure that I wear my homecoming crown. I'm so happy to be here with y'all. You just don't know how this gathering of women blesses me. So thank you for being here. Let me introduce my guest. I am truly honored to welcome this woman. Her life reflects faithfulness across seasons of service, seasons of leadership, motherhood, and deep, deep trust in God. And when I tell you her trust in God is real, and you're going to find out why in a few minutes. Yolanda Sacks Ollison is a native of Tacoma, Washington, and a woman shaped by a rich spiritual legacy, raised by parents who modeled faith and service, especially her mother, District Missionary Anna Sacks. Yolanda learned early the way of holiness and obedience to God's call. Yolanda is the founder of the Washington State Church of God in Christ Bereavement Committee Ministries and the founder of the Book of Luke Women's Fellowship and Online Bible Study. Honey, listen, Yolanda is a visionary. We're going to talk about the Book of Luke. I was on the Book of Luke the other night teaching a Bible study. And I remember when she first started the Book of Luke. And when I tell you that thing blew up, and there were hundreds of women coming for online Bible study. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Which reaches over 1,100 women worldwide. She is a certified chaplain with Franciscan Healthcare, a former president of the University Place Black Parents Association, and the executive director of the Washington State African American Scholarship Pageant. She is a devoted mother of 4, grandmother of 3, and her journey has been shaped not only by leadership and service, but by lived faith, walking through motherhood, caregiving, and her own significant health challenges with grace, wisdom, and her full trust in God. Please join me in welcoming my guest, the one, the only missionary Yolanda Sacks Ollison. There she is. Hi,
Bless you. Hey, Sandy Pandy.
I want
How
to make
are
sure we give
you?
you some applause. It is so good to have you here tonight. Like I
It's
mentioned,
good to
I was
be
on
here.
your show, the Book of Luke, the other night, and we are in a really great book called The 21 Most Effective Prayers
It's in the Bible.
in the
Mm-hmm.
Bible. Yes. And so I
Mm-hmm.
spoke on the prayer of Asa, and I've been watching all of
And
the other
did
speakers.
amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing.
It has been such a joy to watch and to see what you are doing with this online women's fellowship. Tell me, and we're going to get to
Amen.
some other things too, but I want to know, where did the vision for the book of Luke come from? What was that born out of? And when did you start?
Listen, so it came back in 2019, and what I
Mhm,
thought it was going to be was just a few of us getting together to just read the book of Luke together during the
mhm,
holidays. The challenge
mhm,
was just to get together to read the book of Luke together. But because Yolanda just can never leave well enough alone, I couldn't just let us just read the book of Luke together. I had the thought, okay, well maybe as we read it together, we can just have somebody come on every night and do a
mhm,
summation of the chapter. So
mhm,
every night, that's where that came from. And just
mhm,
before I knew it, I didn't know where that was going. But
mhm,
every single night, we would have someone come on, and like I said, and they would summarize that chapter. And that just went on and on and
it
on.
did.
And after we finished that book of Luke, I was like, okay, that was wonderful. And I thought it was over. And then everybody was like, wait, what you mean it's over? What you mean it's over? And so then by that time, we were up to like 600 women. And so I was like, thank you, bless you. They were like, no, bless you, nothing. What's next? What's next? And so there she was. She was
Mhm,
born, and we just went from there, different books, different books of the Bible.
mhm,
I just had no idea. I just had no idea where this was going to go. I just
mhm.
had no idea.
I remember when you first started, and I was watching as the women over the months would start to trickle in until maybe 6, 7, 8 months down the road. I'm in the book of Luke, and there's like hundreds of women in here. And I said,
Yes.
they're not
Yes.
here for salacious gossip.
Mm-mm.
They're not
No.
here to
No.
find out what's going on social media.
No.
They're
No.
not here to talk about what their favorite star is doing and who they doing and all this other crazy
Mm-mm.
stuff. They
Mm-mm.
are here to for Bible study.
For
It
Bible
just blew
study.
my mind. Yes, I remember that.
Every single night. That when people say, so how often do you meet? And when I say every night, they
Every
say, wait a
night.
minute, every single night?
Mm-hmm.
every single night since 2019. Every
Yes.
single night.
Yes. Well, I just want you to know that the book of Luke has blessed my life. You invited me to teach more
Mhm.
than once. And
Oh,
I remember
yes.
one of the nights I was in my car in the parking lot of the YMCA teaching a Bible
I
study on the book
remember
of
that. I remember
and there
that.
were
I
hundreds of
remember that.
women in the chat. Yeah, it
Yes.
blew my mind. It blew my mind. And I know that you had to take a hiatus for a little while to deal with your illness,
Yes.
and now you're back and you're
Mhm.
rebuilding. And
Mhm.
listen, I just believe that
Mhm.
God is going to place you right back where you were or even higher than
Absolutely.
you were because your
Absolutely.
heart is in this ministry. This
Yes.
ministry is
Yes.
about helping women become better.
Absolutely.
So, I believe God is gonna bless that endeavor. I really do.
I do. I do too. I do too. I really do too. Um, like you said, I was diagnosed with end stage congestive heart failure.
Mhm,
And so I had to literally take a break from everything for life's sake. Just
mhm,
had to everything, work, book a Luke, everything, because I had to just grasp what they were saying to me that,
mhm,
you have X amount of time to live, and this is
mm,
what you need to be doing. And
mhm,
so it took me a long time to really process that, Sandy, to really process. And then I got mad. I said, "You don't know. You don't get to
mhm.
tell me. You don't get to tell me how long I have to live. You're not the
Mhm.
creator. You don't get to tell me how long I have to live." But
Yeah.
I will say this. I That spirit of fear is not a joke. I really did not understand the I how severe it could be. I didn't want
Mhm,
to go from room to room unless
mhm.
I had my cell phone with me because I was so afraid that I was just
Yeah,
going to drop dead. I was just so
yeah.
afraid my heart was going to stop. I mean, that spirit of fear really
Mhm,
had to, I didn't want to be home alone. And I said, you know what? This foolishness is going to stop because
mhm,
God has not given me the spirit of
mhm,
fear. And I
mhm.
really had to just fast and pray and get a hold of that thing, just shake myself and say, I
Yeah.
know what they're saying and I know the reality of it, but I cannot live in fear like this.
Mhm,
I just
mhm,
cannot. And so once I was able to get on top of that fear and say, okay, God, what we doing?
mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
what we really doing, and really get on top of that fear and really allow him to minister to me that
Mhm,
whatever whatever way this goes,
mhm, mhm.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
So
And once
for the sake of context, you
mhm.
contracted long COVID. Is that right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
And it
yes.
damaged your heart.
So to be honest, Sandy,
Mhm,
I had
mhm.
my first heart attack at 29.
Ooh.
Really. And so we never understood where these heart issues came from. I had my
Oh,
very first
wow.
heart attack at 29. And
Mhm,
so through all the years, we
mhm,
just never knew where these heart issues came from.
mhm,
But fast forward all these years, and I did have long COVID. And
mhm,
through all my research and everything I did, I really do believe with everything in me that long COVID absolutely correlates with this congestive heart failure because it
mhm.
just jumped up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It just jumped up out of nowhere, and I absolutely 100 believe. I do believe there is definite, strong correlation.
Mhm,
Absolutely.
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
What
Mm-hmm.
would you say that, your illness has taught you about rest and listening to your body
Mm-hmm.
and obeying what it is that your body is telling you to do? What have you learned from
Sat
your illness?
down. Sat down.
You said sit down. Yeah,
I've learned sit down
yeah.
because um my heart failure is in the left ventricle, and
Mhm,
so my body, my heart just is not pumping the blood,
mhm,
moving
mhm.
it to and from the heart and through the rest of my body like it should be.
Okay.
So of course it just produces
Mhm,
fatigue because the blood is just not getting to the rest of the brain, the body.
mhm,
So it's a fatigue like you've never can imagine. And
mhm,
so when that thing say sit down, she mean sit down. She
Mhm.
tired. And so I
Mhm.
have learned, even with your best intention, I've always been your person. I like to go. I like to go. I especially like to support and be a
Mhm.
support. And I've learned it's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. You can't make it to
Mhm.
everything. It's okay.
Mhm.
You can and it's okay. That's what I've
Mhm.
learned. It's
Mhm.
okay. Hmm.
So is it reversible? What are they
It,
saying?
it is not. It is
It is
not. What they are saying is that it is that you can go on and you can live a productive life, but it is
not.
not reverse. It's not reversible. It's not
Mhm.
reversible. It's not curable.
Yeah.
And but I'll tell you this:
Mhm.
they told me 3 years ago that I had 2 years to live.
Well, there you go.
There you go. There you
Mhm.
go. And I tell you, I was this girl, and shout out to my little honey bunny, Draymond Jones. She don't even know how she wrecked my life. She was
Mhm.
doing her little blogging that she does with
Yeah.
her health, and
Yeah.
healing journey that she's going through.
Mhm.
And she was just talking with her little pretty self. She was just talking, and she was just saying da 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 da. And she just, I trust God with my story. And she just
Mhm.
went on and on. And I said, girl, it just paralyzed me. Them
Mhm.
6 words. I trust God with my story.
Yeah.
Gone. And
Yeah.
those who know me, I'm not one of them fall on the floor. Da, da,
Mhm.
that you're just not gonna get a lot of that from me. But when
Mhm.
I tell you, I rolled on this floor, and I mean that thing, it took me out because that's when I realized, God, it's been
Mhm.
you. It's been you all the time. I fill in all this mess in between, but you
Yeah.
really are the author and the
Yes.
finisher of all of this. And
Mm.
everything in between, yeah, okay, but it's you. And
Mhm.
God, I trust you with my story. That
Yeah.
thing wrecked that girl don't even know. She wrecked my whole life with that. God, I trust you with my story. Girl, I'm telling
Yeah.
you.
She's
I'm
inspiring
telling you.
so many
Mm,
people.
mm.
So many people. We love her and we keep her in our prayers. She has a book coming out, or it may
Yes,
be out
indeed.
already.
Yes,
Yeah,
indeed.
so I'm just so proud of her too. I think that both of
Absolutely.
you have a story worth sharing, because
Yes.
you can't be the only ones going through what you're going through.
Absolutely.
But to
Absolutely.
demonstrate the level of faith that you have, it takes a lot of strength and it takes a
Yes.
lot of courage. And so I
Yes.
want you to know that I'm proud of you too. And listen,
Thank you,
I just
Sandy.
believe that God has the final say in all things.
Yes.
So I believe that you will be here for however long you need to be here to get
Absolutely.
your mission done.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's what we're gonna call that. We ain't putting no
In
time limits
Jesus'
on God.
name.
We ain't
In
putting no
Jesus'
nothing.
name.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right. And I need
Absolutely.
y'all to know that Yolanda is only about 4'10".
All day
And she's a
long.
mighty, mighty 4'10".
I am 5'1" and just a little bit changed. Give me my
Oh
change.
my gosh. Oh my gosh, you are so funny. So that is the perfect segue for this next question. You accepted your call to ministry at a really young age and you've served faithfully for many years. How have you had to return to your original yes to God in the different seasons of your life?
I think what I had to do is say, God, I say yes to you,
Mhm.
not yes to Bishop,
Mhm.
not yes to Mother, not yes to anybody, but God, I say yes to you. And I
Yeah.
had to get back to that. I had to
Mhm.
get back to, even in their good intention, and whoever this is, they thought that they wanted to mold me into and shape
Mhm.
me into. My yes had to be unto God.
Yes.
My
Yeah.
yes had to, he who called me and he who qualifies me, my yes had to be unto him. And so
Mhm.
I had to go back and make sure that God, this is unto you. This
Mhm.
is unto you. And I had to go back. And once I remember, Mother Juanita Stanford, who was
Mhm.
just a long time family friend. Her and my mother was great, great friends. And I remember she
I
told me
remember
when I
her.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
And when I was first young in this and just hot, and just they never let me forget it, Sandy.
Mhm.
You the youngest missionary ever licensed in the Church of God in Christ. You just just never let me just this. And she said, "Oh yeah, you hot stuff right now. You hot stuff." She said, "But when you get done letting them prostitute your gift, you won't get
Ooh.
tired.
What do you
And when you
mean? What do you mean by that?
when you get done allowing them to put you because you hot, your gift is hot and you're young and you're when you get done letting them putting you on all their programs and putting you up on display and sending you all to the conventions, when you get done allowing them to put you on display,
Mhm. Mhm.
and when you get tired of that,
Mhm.
God is going to really use you. She said, when you get
Mm.
tired of being their showgirl, when you
Mhm.
get tired of being that for them,
Mhm.
God is, she said, above and around and away from all of this here, in
Mhm.
this local, in this jurisdiction, in this, she said, God is going to use you so mightily, but it has to be outside of this,
Mm. Mhm.
outside of the, how they it has to be outside of this. And I didn't get it.
Mhm.
I was young. I didn't
Mhm.
really get it then. But as
Mhm.
time went on, you know how the Holy Ghost will bring all things
Yeah.
unto our remembrance. But not only, he doesn't just bring it back to our remembrance, he
Mhm.
brings revelation.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
he can bring it back all he wants, but if we don't have the revelation knowledge to understand what he bringing back, don't really
Mhm.
serve the purpose. And so he would bring that back to me, but then he would bring the revelation of
Mhm.
what she meant by that. And
Yeah.
I was just like, okay.
So her words, they did eventually ring true?
What how they rang true
Mhm.
was I had to get to a point
Mhm.
where I just didn't want it.
Mhm.
You know, I just
Yeah.
didn't want it. I just wanted to I just didn't, I don't know how to explain. I just wanted to just do what I knew God was
Mhm.
calling me to do.
Yeah.
I
That's that
just,
original yes.
yes,
That's the
yes.
original yes. You gotta go back
Mm-hmm.
and remember your why,
Mm-hmm.
why you
Mm-hmm.
accepted the call in the first place. And sometimes you
Absolutely.
have to do that because you've been in it so long. You do get tired mentally, physically,
Absolutely.
and spiritually. You get
Mm-hmm.
tired, and you start
Mm-hmm.
to feel like, "Is this really what God called me to? Is
Mm-hmm.
this really
Mm-hmm.
what He called me to do?" And you
Right.
gotta go back and remember why you said yes in the first place.
Right.
And that's what
Right.
can keep you going. Yeah, it'll
Right.
it'll sustain you. That original yes
That
will still
original
sustain
yes.
you. Mhm.
Absolutely. And the
Yeah.
thing about it, Sandy, is when like the old folks say, when you
Mhm.
know that you know that you know
Yep.
that you know, it doesn't matter how fatigued and how whatever
Mhm.
else comes,
Mhm.
that reassurance always comes back. And
Yeah.
and it always does bring you right back to that original yes.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Your
Mm-hmm.
mother, I never got to meet her, but I have
Mm-hmm.
heard such wonderful things about her. She was
Mm-hmm.
a very well-known, well-respected
Mm-hmm.
missionary. Did you
Mm-hmm.
ever feel like you were fighting to get out of her shadow? Or was it just your delight and your honor to serve alongside her? What was that relationship dynamic like?
It never fought to get out of shadow because we're so complete opposite. It was just
Mm.
such an honor. I
Mhm.
always say this about my mother.
Mhm.
What you see is what you get. I
Mhm.
always appreciate it, and I just deviate just a little bit and come back. I am from a generation that
Mhm.
so many of my comrades, so many of my generation, you
Mhm.
can't beat them to church. They
Mhm.
don't want to hear nothing about church
Mhm.
because what they saw at church and what
Mm.
they saw at home was
Mhm.
not the same. It did not
Mm.
equate. It was
Mhm.
not the same. And
Mhm.
it turned them off. So when they got grown, they didn't want anything to do with church.
Mhm.
That was not my experience. My mother was the same wherever you saw her at church,
Mhm.
at the grocery store, at home in the kitchen. She was always the same. And so
Mhm.
I always respected
Mm.
that her steadfast. her steadfastness. I
Mhm.
always respected just she was just so
Mhm.
real, and just
Mhm.
that dog bulldog hold that she had on her faith. I just
Yeah.
always respected that. But we were so different, you know.
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm a pistol.
Mm.
My mother is a little angel. You know, my mother was just so sweet and soft spoken, and so,
Ah.
and I'm not. And so our
Mhm.
paths were so different. Our ministries. So I remember when I first started ministry, and I would get my little messages out, and she would say,
Mhm.
"Bring it here, bring it here." And she would look over. She said, "Baby, do you gotta say it like that?" I said, "That's what he gave it to me." She said, "Fit, you can't say it no sweeter than that." I said, "But I'm not sweet."
Oh, Lord. You
I
are, and you know
said,
why I say that you are? Because you
"That's
and I haven't known each other very long. I think
Mhm.
we went to dinner, it was maybe 2023,
Somewhere
2022.
in there. Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm,
and we just sat
mhm,
there and had the best conversation, and you just started telling me about your life, and I was just so intrigued. I was like,
mhm.
"She has done it all." And so when I was praying about this season of Girl Talk Sunday, season 5, and decided that the theme for this season is the homecoming season,
Mm,
I thought about you. And
mhm.
the reason I thought about you is because I know how sick you were just 2 years ago.
Jesus.
I
Mhm,
remember how sick
mhm,
you were just 2 years ago.
mhm,
And to
mhm.
see you up and out and working in ministry and doing all the things that you love to do, it just inspires me, and it warms my heart to see that. I'm so
Thank
thankful
you,
that you
God.
are
Thank
able
you,
to
God.
be up and out again like you used to be. Because
Yes,
I remember
yes.
when you were down for that whole year.
My God, my
And
God,
so
my
when I
God.
was putting my guests together for the season, I said, I need to bring Londa on. People need to hear her story.
Mm.
It's not just
Praise
that
God.
that you have an illness. You have a special needs son, and you take care of him with such care.
Mm.
I don't know how you do what you do and do all the ministry work you do, and your career and all of that. I don't know how you do all of it,
Jesus,
but I watched
Jesus.
you do it, and everything is not perfect, but all is well.
That's different. Thank you, God.
So
Thank
I'm
you,
just
Sandra.
thankful for you. I'm thankful that God is continuing to use you to do the work that
Amen.
He needs to have done in this within this realm that He's given you, this platform. Because I
Yes.
always say we all have a platform, and
Right.
everybody's platform is a different size. But God
Right.
has given each one of us a platform, and we have a responsibility to use it. First of
Right.
all, to bring glory and honor to Him, but then
Mm-hmm.
to make life a little bit better for somebody else. And I see you
Right.
doing that in the work that you do, especially in the church work. So I want to talk about that in a minute. But I want to know about baby boy, because your stories about him, first of all, are hilarious. But I want to know how raising your son has shaped your understanding of strength, surrender, and faith. How
Mhm.
has your baby boy changed your life?
So growing up, I always felt like love to me was conditional. You
Mhm,
know, I was the
mhm,
youngest of seven, and I always, whether I don't think this was ever spoken to me, I
mhm,
think it was an unspoken thing. If
mhm.
I got the right grades, if I, sat
Yeah.
the right way, if I did if I acted the right way in church, then, love was, you know, shown to me, or
Mhm,
shown to me how I wanted it to be. But if
mhm,
I didn't, keep in those constraints of,
mhm,
those conditions,
mhm,
it was withheld, or I felt like it was
mm,
withheld. And so
mm,
when I had my children,
mhm,
that's when I understood um, unconditional
mhm,
love. When
mm,
I looked into those eyes, and I knew that I would never be the same, because I knew that no matter what I have two girls and two boys, and I
mhm,
knew whatever they would ever do, I would always love them. And I
Oh,
would always show them
yeah.
love. And
Did
I
you
just
did you
feel that
did you come into that awareness as a young mother, or did you have to grow into that
instantly.
instantly? Mhm.
Instantly, the moment I literally, and it sounds so cheesy and it sounds so, but the minute I laid eyes, I had my daughter first. I just knew that what I wanted to do was
Mhm.
show her unconditional love. And so
Yeah.
when I had my son, and let me say this to you, Sandy, we
Mhm.
use this word miracle, right?
Mhm.
We use it
Yeah.
so loosely. We use
Mhm.
it so loosely, so haphazardly.
Mhm.
My baby really is a miracle. He
Yes, girl, tell
really
that
is
story.
a
Tell that story.
miracle. Elijah, so I had stage 4 cancer when I carried him, and my whole pregnancy
Mhm.
fight to terminate the pregnancy. Those
Mm.
doctors were so cutthroat. They would tell me that I was being irresponsible and that the pregnancy wasn't viable, that
Mm.
be thinking about my other children. I should be thinking about trying to save my life because I took 2 chemo treatments before we
Mhm.
realized I was pregnant. And so then we
Mm.
stopped the chemo treatments once we found out that he was in there cooking. And so they wanted to, continue with the treatments. And I was like, no, there's a baby in there. And
Yeah.
so they wanted me to terminate. And I said, there's no way I could ever look at my other 3 children and know that
Mhm.
I chose life for them and then
Mhm.
know I terminated this one, even if it was to save my life. And I don't,
Mhm.
I don't, nothing for anyone who was made that decision, but for me,
Right,
Yolanda
right.
couldn't.
So you
And
were
so he
pregnant
ended
and
up
you were going through cancer treatment.
absolutely. And
Oh.
imagine had already taken two
Mhm.
chemo treatments
Mhm.
before we even realized he was in there.
Mm.
And so, and I remember for a long time, this just reminds us that,
Mhm.
God is he's all knowing. We put so
Mhm.
much trust into these doctors, into these
Mhm.
medical, but they're fallible. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
They're able to make mistakes because
Mhm.
why didn't they do blood tests? Why just urine tests? I always, wondered, how did you not know, how did you not
Right.
catch it
Mhm.
and so I remember I just was suffering. I was
Mhm.
suffering in the fact that no, God, I don't want to leave my other children here.
Mhm.
I had 2 preteen girls and a little 3-year-old boy. No, I didn't want to
Mhm.
leave my children here. I was dying. No, I
Mhm.
didn't want to leave them here.
Ooh.
But I couldn't bring myself to terminate this pregnancy. So don't you know that he just came?
Mm.
No, he just was one day he just said, I'm coming today. Y'all gonna stop worrying my mama about trying to tell me I'm coming. And he just came that day, barely 1 pound.
Ooh.
Barely. And if you can imagine from the top of his head to the
Mhm.
bottom of his foot, all fat in my hand, just one
Wow.
pound. And I was so scared to touch that little baby. I was
Mm.
so scared to touch that little baby. He was so small, but he was perfectly formed. I'll never forget that. He was just 1 pound, but
Mhm.
perfectly formed. No mutations, no, nothing. He just was perfectly formed. And
Mhm.
he was so sick. And I remember a few times they would try to extubate him, take him off the machines and stuff, and that would fail. And just, he had, some brain bleeds. I mean, it was
Mhm.
really touch and go. It was really touch and go. He was in the NICU for 5.5 months.
Wow.
Sorry about that. He was in the NICU for 5.5 months. And
Yes.
he said everything they said he would never do, he doing.
Mhm.
They said he'd never walk. They said he'd
Yeah.
never talk. They said he'd never eat. He'd always, have to be on a feeding tube.
Mhm.
That boy eat like an ox. Everything they said he'd never do, he's doing. He still is primarily nonverbal. Um,
Mhm.
but he tries to talk. But Sandy, he
Yeah.
can sing. He can sing. He can rap. And I ask
Oh,
the neurologist all the time, how is this possible?
right.
Sing and rap every stanza. every song, every
Wow. I know when I was talking to you on the phone, on one day you said, "Girl, Elijah over here being Elijah."
right. He has so much
Started laughing
personality.
because I can just imagine what he was doing.
So much personality. People think because he is delayed and because he
Mhm.
can't answer back, um, that he's just, he has so much personality, girl. He has so
Yeah.
much personality. Hmm.
Oh, well,
He
I'm
does.
just
That's my
I,
baby.
the reason why I asked you about the unconditional love as a young mother is because I know, for a lot of young mothers, it is so overwhelming to have one
So
child,
overwhelming.
but
Yes.
to have three already and then have the
Jesus.
fourth one born weighing a pound
Yes, Lord.
had to be a lot. What did you
Mhm.
do to maintain your sanity? And did you have
Cry.
a support system around you to help you? Yeah. Yeah.
Cry.
Hmm.
Honestly speaking, I kind of reclused. And
Mm.
I didn't mean to. I just think out of fear. I just, how just
Yeah.
in the moment you're just trying to get through it.
Mhm,
And so
mhm,
I had lost my mother. My sisters, lived 3,000 miles away. I just think, just out of survival, I just got in the press and and I just kind
mhm,
of reclused. And looking back, I wished I wouldn't have done that, because what it
mhm,
did is it made my children felt like no one cared. And it
mm,
wasn't that. It was just I kind of blocked out, kind of self
mhm,
protect. And it
mhm,
wasn't that no one. And because they would say, my girls would say, all our lives, if anybody ever died, anybody was ever sick, we was always up at the hospital, always cooking food to take somebody this and take somebody that. We were always bereavement. We was always, but then when our mama is sick in the floor,
mhm,
and I had to explain to them that was partially my fault. I just kind of reclused. It wasn't so much that people weren't trying to. And so, hindsight, I wish I would have, just opened
mhm,
up and say, hey,
mhm,
my
mhm.
we need some help over here. So I
Yeah.
tried to, looking back, I wish I wouldn't have. And I wasn't trying to be superwoman. I just think
Mhm.
out of fear, I just got in there and just I was so overwhelmed, Sandy. Just
What were you
with these three. Go ahead.
what were you afraid of?
Um, I don't know. I was
Mhm.
afraid that this baby was gonna die. Number one, I
Mm.
was so afraid. The first 3, maybe 5 years, I stayed in a constant fear of
Mhm.
his death. Just I just
Okay.
he was so fragile, and so I was always. He has really bad grandma seizures, and so
Mhm,
those seizures are very, very violent, very, very extreme. And so, like I said, and he had these brain bleeds, and just it was
mhm,
just so much. He didn't eat solid food until he was 5.
mm,
And
mhm.
so it was just a lot. And so I would tell them, I don't have time to be reaching out to people. All I got time is just take care of y'all. And I wish I would have set up, I see him now, food trains and this, that. I wish I
Yeah,
would have took the time to
yeah.
just do it for my children's sake.
Mhm, mhm.
So that
Yeah.
they see people really do care. It's not that nobody care. It's just I was
Mm,
too overwhelmed to even just reach out, you
mhm,
know.
mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I believe that you were graced to be his mother.
Mhm.
There's a reason why he was born to you and he survived all of that coming in here at 1 pound in the NICU for 5 months. But
Yes.
he came home and he's how old now?
He is 19.
19 years old. Now I know they told you he wasn't gonna live to be no 19.
Wasn't gonna make it out the hospital.
Mm,
Mhm.
I'm
Wouldn't
telling
live
you,
out the hospital.
you
Mhm.
were graced. God gave you the grace to raise that
Amen.
baby, and he probably
Amen.
raising you now.
Right. 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 He is a mess.
I wanna talk about this new appointment that you recently received, because when you were telling me about it the other day, I was like, "Ooh, ooh, Ooh, okay. We got to talk about that on the show. Let's talk about it. You are the new administrative facilitator for the Democratic Republic of Congo for the
Mhm,
International Department of Women of the
mhm.
Church of God in Christ. Tell us what that is. It sounds
Sounds highfalutin, huh? So basically, it is, I really don't know how to explain it. Um, so what I'll do is I'll tell you what I'll be doing. I don't know how to explain
okay.
the office to you, but
Hmm.
I'll tell you what I'm working on. So that'll give
Okay.
you some resolve. So my first thing that I'm so excited to work on is to help um, try to fundraise to open an orphanage there.
Hmm.
So my particular region is called Kwelu. That's my
Hmm.
particular province that I'm assigned to. And
Hmm.
so one of the things that I'm most excited about is that in conjunction with that, I also will be helping to um, and develop and administer the curriculum for the deaconess and evangelist missionaries who are coming from the international missionaries that are coming from the Congo, who are coming stateside to be licensed. So
Hmm.
I will be helping to facilitate. Writing those tests, administering those tests, that is absolutely amazing to me, and sit on that board of examination and
Hmm.
things like that. And so it just is it's not one gamut. It's a long, how they talk about autism being on the spectrum,
Spectrum.
it's just a large spectrum of what this covers, and it's
Yeah.
a lot of it's mission work. It is not, big hat and handkerchief,
Hmm.
work. It's mission work. It's
Hmm.
roll your sleeves up, mission work. And that is, for those who know me, know that is right up my alley. That's always, been up my alley when
Hmm.
when the supervisor had to talk to, my bishop and supervisor to get the recommendation for me to do the work and everything. What blessed me was talking to Mother McGraw, and she said, of course, she said, let me tell you a story that I remember about you. She said, me and my husband came to visit Bishop Westbrook. And she said, all we seen was all these boxes of coats and shoes and all these things, brand new coats from Nordstrom's and Mervyn's that you had collected for the single women and the single mothers to give for their children. She said, she said, you ain't had no missionary license. She said, you was just a young little girl with your young little babies. And she said, that's mission work. She
Hmm.
said, and that's what you've been doing long as I've known you, working with your mother and your own. And she said, of course, I recommend you for this position because you've been doing the work long as I've known you. And I
Hmm.
said, I cannot believe you remember that. Do you know how long ago that was? And I
Hmm.
said, that had to be like 97, And she
Yeah.
said, yes, I remember that. But I'm just so excited because that's my heart.
Hmm.
That's my heart. That is my passion. And so when I tell you I couldn't have dreamed this, I couldn't have asked for this. I couldn't have shook up a bag and pulled this out of a bag. I just couldn't have dreamed for this.
I like
Mm-hmm.
the way you said it's not big hat and handkerchief work. It's not
Mm-hmm.
having a spotlight on your face work.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
It's going behind the scenes and
Absolutely.
helping these young women who are accepting the call to become a missionary and preparing them through the training like I went through 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
get that license so that they can then go out and answer the call. So,
Mm-hmm.
it may not be glamorous, it may not be cute, but it's what's necessary to add to the kingdom, to add workers to the
Absolutely.
kingdom. It's important work, especially in the area that you're going to be working with. It's
Absolutely.
really important, and you're right. It is mission work.
Absolutely.
Hmm. Hmm.
Absolutely.
Well,
So excited.
congratulations. I'm
Thank
excited
you.
for you.
Thank
I
you.
want to
Thank
ask
you.
you, with the book of Luke, you have helped create spaces of healing and community for
Hmm.
so many women. Why
Hmm.
is community so important to you?
You know, I think so often we want to separate
Mhm,
community and church and
mhm.
families and community, and I don't understand how, because it's the families that make up the
The
churches and
community.
the
Mhm,
communities that make up and
mhm,
so it's all one. And
mhm,
so in the communities, we have to we have to find a way that I've always said our teachings and our
mhm,
ministries have
mhm,
to be indicative of the things that is going on in society and community today.
mhm,
When my mother was a young woman, in their ministry and their missionary training and just in their YWCC and their training, they used to teach them how to iron curtains and how to iron tablecloth. That was part of their
mhm,
training. We have blinds. We
mhm,
don't have curtains no more. We are our teachings have to be indicative of what's going on today, and so you have to be in tune with what's going on in your community, and
mhm,
and you have to you have to a safety. There has to be an element of safety, and what makes home safe is it's I don't want to sound cliche, so I'm just gonna say it my way.
mhm,
Is
mhm, mhm,
what comes natural. If it's natural for me to come
mhm,
home and take my shoes off and go get me a glass of lemonade, that's my
mhm,
natural surrounding. If that's what is natural to me, someone should be able to feel safe and natural in their
mhm,
surroundings. And sometimes, unfortunately, it's easy. The people feel safer at your house more than they do
mhm,
in their natural surroundings. And so
mhm,
we have to help create these safer environments, whether it
mhm,
is online ministries, whether it is helping the single mother down the street with some eggs and bacon that she needs for
mhm,
her
mhm.
for her children, whether it's
Yeah.
just being a nice person to the mailman. It's just it all constitute and commits to community. And I think
Mhm,
we try to separate church
mhm,
from community, but we are church, we are
mhm,
community, we are, and we have to make it all fit, because we're
mhm.
one. We're all one. And I think for me, for you, not this, y'all don't have to agree, but for me, I remember when I was little, we used to say a better Sunday school, make a
Yep.
better church,
Better
make a better
churches.
church, a better, safer, non-judgmental.
Mhm. That's what I was about to say. I wanna ask you too, because, we hear a lot, about the millennials. The millennials are leaving church. They don't wanna go to church. They're the most unchurched generation. First of all, do you believe that? And second of all, if that's true, what would you say we can do to make church more inviting for the generation under us? Is there something we can do? Because we know the word of God never changes. It's never changing.
Mhm.
But the way we deliver it might need an update. But what do you think? Do you believe that the millennials are the most unchurched generation?
Two parts.
Yeah.
I believe my generation, and I don't know the stats and the numbers of this.
Mhm.
I think mine, and am I Xer? Am I a Gen Xer? I
Mhm.
think my generation, and this is from my generation of Kojic children, are
Mhm. Mhm.
the most unchurched, because again, they saw so much. We were so dogmatic. It was
Mhm.
everything was a sin. Everything was. We
Mhm.
couldn't play with marbles because the Bible said marvel not. We couldn't go. We couldn't
What?
go to the
What?
we couldn't play with marbles because the Bible said marvel not.
Okay.
Marble. Remember, and in defense, we have to
Mhm.
remember that a lot of our founders, uh they were just a generation outside of slavery, and so
Mm,
their educational
mhm,
level wasn't high. Sometimes some
mhm,
of them were not even literate, and so
mhm,
they did the best with what they had. So
mhm, mhm,
marbles had nothing to do with the word marvel, but it
mhm,
sound like, so we
mhm.
couldn't play with marbles because the Bible said marble not. And so that's just some of the just, disconnect that we have,
Mhm.
just because just the educational level wasn't there. And there was a
Right.
lot of those type of things that we just it just was
Yeah, they didn't know
mishandled.
what they didn't know.
They didn't know. And
Mhm,
so there was a lot of that dogma that really, really damaged my generation. And so when
mm,
they got big and bad enough to get grown, they first thing smoking and they never looked back. A
mhm,
lot you heard from my generation, you can see, I look and see a handful of us that, over the years that went to church. I mean, and they just left and never came back. And so I
mhm,
differ when I
mhm,
hear these statistics about, they're the most, unchurched. I would
mhm,
say I would like to see the numbers between my Gen X and this
mm,
what,
mhm,
because you don't see. I think we're kind of neck and neck. And then the other thing is, we have to remember the book. The Bible
mhm,
talks about there being a great falling away. We can toss up, we can do whatever, make it as appealing to these kids as we want
mhm,
to. We cannot conform to the world. We just
mhm,
cannot. We
mhm,
cannot. And not in, but they still love God.
mhm.
Absolutely. But we cannot conform to the world to try to draw, because
Right,
then we
right,
lost the battle. We
right.
have to still hold up the standard of holiness, but
Mhm,
we can make our, like you said, make our delivery, make our draw, you
mhm,
know,
mhm,
our efforts a little different. But I think that what we're doing is, we're in our efforts to try to reach them, we're overstepping, and that turns them
mhm.
off. You think
I
that you're
agree.
winning them by,
Yeah.
being, trying to be worldly, and you're really turning them off, because they really
Mhm,
do want God. They
mhm,
really do want God. They don't want what you're offering them. So I think, if we just go back to holiness, if we just go back to teaching holiness and stop trying to conform, because really you'll say you trying to win them, but you're really trying to satisfy your own flesh and blame it on trying to win the youth. But I'm gonna leave that right there, because that's what I see. Okay.
What do
Okay.
you want to say for or to the women who might feel scattered in life because of loss, illness, too much responsibility too soon? Um, and you know what it is to be married, you know what it is to be a single mother. You know what it is to work in church ministry and get burnout working in church
Mhm.
ministry, but feeling like you have to keep going, and having that feeling of guilt when you want to give up, but then you're burnt out and you need to go somewhere, like you said, and sit down. And so you got to try to balance those things
Right.
out. What do you want to say to the women watching right now who are burning the candle at both ends when it comes to their family, church work, their careers? They're not taking the time for self care. They're just not taking care of themselves because there is a guilt attached to putting yourself first. When if we, think about when we get on an airplane and the very nice flight attendant is showing us all the emergency exits and what we need to do if an emergency happens, what do they say? They say put the mask on yourself first before you put
Right.
it on the person next to you or your child that's sitting next to you. Because if you pass out, who gonna put the mask on the baby?
Right. Right.
So what do you want to say to women who keep putting the mask on everybody but themselves? And they,
Mm.
they they don't know how to put themselves first because of that guilt that's attached to that sometimes. And have you been there?
Definitely have been there,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
and probably still suffer a little now, because
Yeah.
we know that the enemy, he's an accuser of the brethren,
Mhm,
and that's what he loves to do. But one thing I want to say, I cannot get away from this. It seems like every for the past 2 months, the Lord just keeps bringing this word back to me.
mhm, mhm,
All of my sisters who are tired, you are overwhelmed, you are pressed down, you are all of that. The
mhm,
name of the Lord is a strong tower, and the
mhm,
righteous run into it. I cannot get away from that. And I want you to know that we have to go back to calling on the name of God. We have to
mhm,
go back to the
mhm,
practical application. The
mhm,
practical application is applying the word of God to our situations. It is speaking the word of God to our situations and believing it for ourselves, because that grief and that what's the word, that
mhm,
anguish, it can
mhm,
be debilitating. It can really be debilitating, and the only way to really shake it off and get it off of us is to
mhm.
apply that word. And
Yeah.
I had to really say, Lord, uh why do you keep bringing this back to me? He said,
Mm,
because
mhm,
my name is a strong tower.
mhm,
My name is a strong tower. Tell them to run to me, run to me, run to me, run to
mhm,
me. And so I'm telling you now, sis, run to him. His very name is a strong tower. And I know
mhm,
we have all these catchy, cliches about, we want to, and I don't have a problem with self-care. Self-care is wonderful, and we do need to take our time, and we need to
we
do
do.
all of that stuff. And
Mhm,
because if you don't take care of yourself, somebody else is going to take care of you in the nursing home, in the
mhm,
convalescent home, in the hospital,
mhm,
because it's going to catch up with you. So take care of
mhm,
yourself 100%. But you
mhm.
also have to take care of yourself spiritually. You have
Yes.
to get in that word. You have to
Mhm,
allow the word of God to minister to you. And I think we get away from that. We're so
mhm,
busy. We just busy ourselves away from our spiritual self care. And I like that spiritual
mhm.
self care. We have to, we have to. And I know I'm guilty of it. Okay, got the kids settled, got this settled, got everything settled. And I just
Mhm,
want to go to bed. Ain't read no
mhm,
word, ain't barely
mhm.
prayed, and it shows because I'm just as short and curt and just, uh, but we have to find a way in our daily in
Mhm,
our daily routine to get
mhm.
that word in. We
Yeah,
got to do it. It is
sometimes
essential.
I think sometimes we make it harder than it has to be.
We
We
do.
make it more
We
complicated. We
do.
make having
We
a prayer
do.
life more
We do,
complicated than it
Sandy.
has to be. It
We
doesn't
do.
mean that you spend an hour a day unless you
Speaking
just want to.
tongues. Right.
Right. There you can talk to God anytime.
Right.
Anytime. You can just
Anytime,
be in the
anywhere.
cereal aisle at Safeway talking to God.
That's right. That's
It
I
doesn't have
tell
to
I
be
tell them all the
so
time,
difficult.
you're not gonna always have somebody there to lay hands and slap blessed oil
Yes.
on you. You better go and
Mhm,
get in there and get it for yourself in that shower, in that
mhm,
car, in that bank, in the line at the bank. Learn how to
mhm,
talk to them. Learn how to just talk to them.
mhm, mhm.
And
Yeah.
we think it's this long, drawn out process. It's this
It's not.
long, and that's why we don't do it a lot of times, because we've
Mhm,
been taught that it's this long, drawn out formula. It's this
mhm.
long, drawn out process. And I wish we can just get away from that. Get away,
Yeah.
just unteach that. Just
Mhm,
unteach that.
mhm. I think it's,
Mhm.
Iyanla Van Zant just released a book called Spiritual Hygiene.
Okay, I like
And
it.
yes, and, to me, it's just like regular hygiene. It's
Mm-hmm.
what's gonna clean and purify you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what I mean by that is knowing that you have, access. to God at any time,
Mm-hmm. Mm.
knowing that there is a spiritual and biblical answer for every problem we face in this life.
My God.
There's an answer.
There's an
Now, does
answer.
life get overwhelming? Absolutely. Are people
Mhm.
dealing with mental and emotional health problems? Absolutely. Especially right now with so much going on in the world.
Yes.
But
Yes.
if you could just find a moment to pray and ask
Jesus.
God to help you get grounded in him,
Yes.
get centered in him, quiet
Yes.
all the noise,
Quiet all the
and just
noise.
take a few minutes every day just to commune with him
Yes.
and get still. Some of us, just like I said earlier, we're so busy doing. We don't spend
Jesus.
enough time just being.
Mm-hmm.
And all that
Mm-hmm.
noise and all that stimulation is not good for your brain. It's not good for your mental state. It's not good for your
That's right.
emotional state. But you
That's
have to
right.
make that a priority. It's not something that's just going to happen
That's right. That's
automatically. You have to
has to be
prioritize
intentional.
yourself. You should
Mm-hmm.
be on the top of the to-do list,
My God. That's
not
good,
washing
Sandy.
baseboards and
That's good.
cleaning windows. You should be
Mm-hmm.
on the top of the to-do list. And I don't
All
think that we
right.
do that as
That's
women. We
good.
just don't.
That's
We're not
good.
taught to do that. We're not conditioned to do that.
That's
We are
right.
taught to put everybody else first and put ourselves on the
That's right.
back burner, not understanding that if you are not at your best, how are you going to help your children become their best?
Who gonna put the
How are
mask
you gonna,
on?
exactly? How are you going to help? How are you
Mm-hmm.
going to be your best at your job and you at home
Mm-hmm.
falling apart?
Mm-hmm.
It's okay
Mm-hmm.
to put yourself at the top of the to-do list.
That's
It's okay
right.
to do that.
That's
It's a
right.
must.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. It's
Yeah.
so funny you said it.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, yes, who said that? Spiritual wellness, Nurse Sylvia. Spiritual wellness. We need spiritual wellness just as much as we
We
need
do.
physical wellness.
Absolutely.
They
Absolutely.
run neck
That's
and neck.
good.
You need them both.
Spiritual wellness. I love that.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Need them both.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
What would
Absolutely.
what are some of your self-care practices that you do?
Me,
Mhm.
I am such an you gonna make me shame myself. I am such a shopper. I am
Oh,
such a shopper. And
reach out
so
there.
it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. But that and I love to get my nails done. I love to put even I'll do this. If I can just I when I'm sick and I can't get out, I'll still
Mhm.
paint my face up. I'll still
Mhm.
go and put my face ain't going nowhere. Ain't going but it makes me feel better. It makes
Yeah.
me feel I go put my earrings on. But what makes me feel better is if I can just go shower, put me
Mhm.
a new pair of jammies on and some
Mhm.
smell good. Girl, I'm a
Mhm.
new woman. And
Yes.
but anybody who knows me, and I wish somebody in here would put this on me, I will
Mhm.
have 57 tubes of lip gloss. Girl, I 57 tubes of lip gloss. I will
Mhm.
order, find, and hunt lip gloss from anywhere. That's that's my hidden pleasure. I just love it. But I just love to I like girly stuff,
Yeah.
bubble baths and smell goods and stuff like that because
Mhm.
I'm shut in a lot, because of my health to where I can't get out a lot. And so I have to find things that bring me joy just within
Yeah.
within my space.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm so
Hmm.
glad you're doing that though, Yolanda. You do. You really need that. You
Yes.
need it. I'm telling you, I
Mhm.
work from home, but I get up every day, shower, get dressed, put my lipstick on, put my head wrap on or whatever I'm gonna do with my
Yes,
head for the day.
yes,
Ain't nobody
yes,
looking at me
yes.
but me. But
Right,
it's
right,
important. That is
right,
important to me. I have work
right,
pajamas. I don't
right.
just put on anything and log into my computer and go to work. I get up and I get dressed.
Yes,
I feel
yes.
more professional when I'm dressed. And
Absolutely.
I do sometimes I do my makeup and I'm at
Mhm,
home, but it
mhm,
makes me feel better about myself.
mhm.
So if the women watching tonight don't get anything else out of this show, I want you to hear us when we say find something that makes you feel good about yourself,
No
and
matter what it
do it
is.
as often as you want to, whatever it is, it doesn't
Absolutely.
matter as long as you're not hurting yourself or anyone else.
Right, right.
Find something that makes you feel good about yourself
That's right.
and do
That's
it.
right. And do
Yes,
it. And
do
do
it.
it. It's,
Yeah.
no matter how seemingly silly it is, how
Mhm,
seemingly small it is, do it.
mhm.
Collect color pencils. I don't care. It doesn't matter what it is.
No, it
If
doesn't
it brings you joy, if it brings you joy, do
matter. Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
Do it.
And let your
Hmm.
children, especially your baby girls, let them see you doing that. My
Absolutely.
daughter needed to see me
Yeah.
taking
Mm.
care of myself, and for a lot of years, she didn't see that. It's only been
Say it.
recently
Say it,
that I've
Sandi.
really gotten serious about
That's
taking care
right.
of my spirit
Absolutely.
life and my physical body, my mental
Yes.
state, my
Yes.
emotional state. But when she was
Yes.
younger, she needed to see that, and she didn't always see it.
Yes.
So I'm so grateful that now that she is a mother of 2 girls, she lets
Mm.
them see her being intentional
I love
about
it.
taking care of her body, mind, and spirit.
I love it. I
It
love
is
it.
so important that we do that for our children, our sons too. Our sons
Yes.
need to see us taking care of ourselves
That's
so that
right.
when they grow up and get married, they'll know, okay, this is what women do when they be at
That's
the spa
right. That's what
and they
they
be on there
should
getting their
do.
feet done and all
Right.
this other stuff. So it should be a
Absolutely.
normal thing for our children to see us carving out time in our
That's
day or
right.
in our week to
That's
do
right.
some form of self-care
Self care. That's
for
right.
ourselves.
That's right.
Yeah, I think it's really important.
It's very
I wanna
important.
know before we close out tonight, I wanna know what is the best piece of advice you ever got from your mom?
Mm. I don't know if this is the best piece, but this is what came to my mind
Mhm,
in regards to my husband, to a
mhm,
man. She said, never berate his prowess, never berate
mm,
his manhood, never uh, always make him feel like he big and strong,
yeah,
never, and like Oprah, don't talk under his clothes. I'm trying
mhm,
to talk with tact, She
mhm,
said
mhm,
never berate his manhood, She
mhm,
said
mhm,
don't do that because there's no
mhm,
coming back from that, you know.
yeah,
There's y'all might stay together, but
but
there's no coming back from that in
yeah,
his heart, in
mhm,
his ego. There's no coming back from that. She said, don't do that because there's no need to do that. Don't do
mhm,
that. And
mhm,
as I got older and in marriage and just in relationship with men, I understood. And as I understood men, I
mhm,
understood why she said that. And I understand the detriment of it and why. And I felt like that was very, very wise. I didn't understand why she was saying it to me, but I felt that that was very, very wise. And it
mhm,
was so unlike my mother.
mhm,
That was so unlike my mother to talk like, and
mhm,
so I knew that it was important for her to even be talking like that, for
mhm.
her to even say that. I knew that it must have been important because she didn't talk. She didn't. My mother was a lady. She didn't talk that kind of talking.
Well, that's good advice.
Yes,
I heard
yes.
you say that you have 2 daughters. What's some advice that you've given them over the years that, you've seen them take to heart and really listen to and follow?
Um, do not, don't be silly.
What you mean, Lana? What you mean?
Be silly.
Oh, what that mean?
I'm, I'm a child from older parents, and
Mhm,
so we didn't do. I just was always been kind of older acting, right?
mhm,
And
mhm,
so I told my daughters, be ladylike. Don't be all
mhm,
that giggling and silly. Be serious about,
mhm,
how you present yourself to a man. Don't be silly for a
Mhm.
man. When you are meeting him, that don't mean you have to be, you know, with a chip on your shoulder, but don't be silly. Don't be giggling and, showing them your teeth, and, don't be so, happy for them to be showing you some attention. Don't be silly,
Mhm.
because if you show too much interest, you know, too early, you
Mhm.
know, you don't want that. You want to be coy, and you want to be pursued, and that's always our little joke. You want to be pursued. You always want to be pursued.
I
That's
like
our
that.
little.
I like that
Hmm.
advice. Well, thank you so much for being here tonight on the season 5 premiere of the Girl Talk Sunday podcast. I can't think of anybody better that I want to talk to.
Absolutely, absolutely, Sam. Thank you for having me, honey. This was great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You
This
got
is
some
great.
love in the chat too. I want to go back so you can see
What you
here.
say?
You got some love in the chat. Let me go
What
down
you
here.
say?
Somebody is watching all the way from Pakistan. I'm not sure
What
who that
you
is.
say?
But
Hello.
praise the Lord for you. I don't know
Uh,
how you found us, but we sure glad you did.
right. Bless
Nurse
you.
Sylvia. Nurse Sylvia is here.
Amen. Hi, cousin.
My buddy, Missionary
Hey,
Tabitha Clark
Tab.
is in the house. And I know you and Tab have known each other since you were little kids, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's my girl.
I have asked
Absolutely.
Tabitha twice to come on Girl Talk Sunday. Maybe 2026 will be the year. I don't know.
Yes. Yes, it will. In
I
Jesus'
hope
name.
so. That's my friend. I love me some Tab. The soul of the
Yes.
matter is here. Lady Jones is here. Yes, we love her. We love the
Wilson.
soul of the matter. Yes, I love her
Yes.
so too. Oh my gosh, this is so awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I'm glad that you came.
Absolutely.
And hopefully it won't be the last
Absolutely.
time.
Hopefully it won't be the last time you have me.
Oh no, you'll be back.
Yes,
As
I
long
would
as you can
love
come back,
to.
we're gonna bring you back.
I would love to. I would love to.
Again, thank you so much for joining us tonight on the Girl Talk Sunday podcast. I will be back next week, and it's just going to be me next week.
All
And we are
right.
going to talk about how sometimes being too helpful can
Mm,
really turn out to be a hindrance. And sometimes the best help that you can give is to not help. That's what we're going to be talking about next week. And I don't know if anybody has ever been there, because I have been there, where I was being more of a hindrance. I thought I was being helpful, but I was really being more of a hindrance. And we're going to talk about that and talk about some ways how we can create boundaries that keep us from enabling behavior, but still allow the person that we're trying to help to know that you love them, you care about them, you're praying for them, but you're going to have to take a hands-off approach. And that's going to be the most helpful thing that you can do. So that's what we're going to talk about next week, next Sunday, March 1st on the Girl Talk Sunday podcast. Again, thank you for being here tonight. And I will see you next week. It's homecoming season, y'all. Y'all see that? It's homecoming season all season long. I can't wait to come back and talk with you again. Thank you. In the meantime, y'all be good. Good night and God bless.
She worth it. She worth it. She worth it.